The first add-on we have is Botanic Free. There is a paid version and a free version of this add-on. I'm using the free version today. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can get it. It has many different features, such as spawning in different plants and trees and rocks if you also want that. So I'm going to select a tree in here, but I'm just showing you the different types you have. You have ivory, but you have to pay for that. You've got grass and stuff like that, flowers, lots of different things. So let's spawn one of these in. As you can see, it's really detailed and it has the green colouring in the normal viewport shading, which is quite useful for telling where the apples are on the trees and the leaves. You can add grass by going down here and selecting grass. This is a free one, but there's many different versions of the grass. It'll be quite laggy if you try to do an animation with this, but just for now I'm going to use a viewport rendering just to make sure that it's not too laggy. Here we go. There's lots of different details. They work well with HDRIs. Real-time denoising doesn't really do it many favours because it kind of gets rid of all the detail, but I'm just doing this so it doesn't look like a noisy mess to you viewers. If you add an object into the scene, you can also use the ivory brush tool, so I'll demonstrate that quickly. So if I just put this boolean here, and then come down here, click to draw, and I'll just draw some vines on where I'd like them to go. And then press convert when I'm finished. There we go, we've got some nice vines drawn onto our boolean. So if we go into render view, we can see that the vines have been added nicely. You can also add animations to trees and the plants, such as grass, so that they sway in the wind or have a fixed animation you want. So I'll turn off denoising quickly to show you the little detail. The apples are well textured considering that they're very small. So that is Botanic. The next add-on I'll be showing you is Transpiration. This one is a paid add-on on the Blender market, and I think you might be able to get it somewhere else, but I purchased from the Blender market. So press N on your keyboard, and I bought the sports pack, so I'll show you cars which are part of the sports pack. There are many other packs, including different types of cars and different amounts of cars. Some even include planes, boats and bikes. My one includes just cars. So I just spawned in this Ferrari. You can select from different options such as high definition and low poly. So if we snap the vehicle to the ground and make it editable for animation, you can now see how you can pose the car differently for different scenes. So the wheels move when you move the car. This is very useful because it saves you a lot of time when animating. The car is textured in the viewport as well, slightly, just so it stands out more. This is quite useful. Here are the other features which are built into the rig. Front wheel movement, and the rear of the car can spin around. This is good for drift scenes if you're animating something like that. You can make the kit go higher and lower, suspension to add integral forces or make the car look like it's accelerating or deaccelerating. If you add low poly ones in, these are perfect for in the background of a scene so that they don't look too detailed and don't affect your render performance too much, but they also look nice and clean. If you click on the car, you can change the paintwork. There's a lot of different paintworks to select from. Let's add this shiny blue, or matte kind of shiny. Now we can change it to something else, like a shiny blue as well, or a shiny white, or a red, dark red this time. All of the cars work really well with HDRIs. It has a built-in HDRI function into it so you get a few templates for your renders. I'm just using one I have at the moment. Here's the next add-on, SketchFile plugin. So what you do for this is you press N on your keyboard, log in with your SketchFile account, and now you can add 3D models with the click of a button. This is really useful for importing models into scenes if you don't want to make it yourself. So let's add this coin quickly. Is that a coin? Pendant, let's say a pendant, but there we go. You can also use links to paste. So if we do an import from URL, this is one of my 3D models I made myself. So if we paste it into here, import model, does all the texturing for you, adds it in with separate geometry and objects, so I can move individual parts. This is a really cool add-on. It's completely free, and it's definitely worth it if you have a SketchFab account, because it saves you a lot of time rather than just downloading and then importing. It has a built-in search function as well, if you want to search for models and not open the browser. So you can search for cars, and then we find lots of different cars, look through the different results and stuff like that. Nice and useful. If you click on the pictures, you can change it. There's different categories, so if we change the category to cars, sort by the most amount of likes, we can see different ones which are most popular. If I click on it, we get a little drop down of all the different cars. So let's spawn in this Porsche, or download this Porsche. As we can see, it's detailed. The car's got textures done. It's working well with the scene. It looks fine. This is excellent model. My next add-on is Real City. So when you download it from the Blender Market, or wherever you download, you get different Blender files rather than it being built into Blender. So what you do is you go to append, then you append the file that you want to append, find it in the model section. So I'm going to add a building for now. So I go to the buildings file, and then select what I want to import. So in the objects, in the collection, and then assets. Asset 1 is building 1, asset 2, building 2. So I'll import this building here. Give it a moment to load in. So here we go, I'm back once it's loaded. As you can see, it works really well with HDRIs and HDRs. So we go into the properties and modifiers. You can see that you can edit the length, the height, and the width of the building. This is very useful for fitting scenes and making a city look more diverse with taller buildings, shorter buildings, and wider buildings. You can change the overall height of the floors. You can also add randomly generated things onto the roof, such as like air conditioning units and other things like that. You can change the amount of other optional objects which are built onto the building, as shown. You can also add other things which are built into this add-on, such as chairs, seats, bin bags, all other things to add to a scene. So I'll be importing this entrance to a hotel or a bus cover. So if I import that quickly, as you can see, it's well textured, everything's working. They don't alter performance too much in a render, and they add a nice little bit of depth and detail to a scene when used appropriately. RealTime Materials is my next add-on to show you. This is a paid add-on. It can be bought from the Blender Market. So what you have to do is press Shift A, go down to the textures part at the bottom of the list, and then search through all the ones and find the one you want. So let's just add a wood texture to it. Give it a moment to load in. As you can see, the textures are nice and detailed and reflect light nicely. We can add lots of different ones on here, so let's go for this kind of steel look. There's so many different ones to choose from. As you can see, they reflect light appropriately and can be added to all different objects, such as booleans or whatever kind of object you're using in your scene. They can be used appropriately with them, as shown. Since they use nodes, you can actually edit them as well if you want to, so change the scale, the pattern of them, the bump, the roughness. It's very useful for that. Node Wrangler is my next tool that I use in Blender. It's an excellent add-on and it's completely free and built into Blender. Demonstration here, which I would use it for, is when I'm at a HDRI. So I click on the background and press Ctrl T, and then find the picture I want to use for my HDRI, and then add it in. And it's really quick and simple for adding things like that, which often take a few seconds if you're not doing it this way. My next one is import images as planes. This is another free add-on and very useful. So if I go to image, I can actually add an image straight into my scene as a plane and it's already textured. This is very useful, it saves a lot of time. VR inspection tool is my next one. I can't demonstrate this at the moment because my VR isn't working, but it's really useful for looking through scenes in VR. Ball tool is an excellent tool which can be used when making different models and things like that, so I'll do a quick demonstration of how to use it quickly. So if you put this in here, on the create side on the right, you can select what you want, so I press difference, it'll create a nice little indent into the cube. If I change the shape, I can demonstrate it goes all the way through. Nice clean shape there. Dynamic sky is my next add-on which I use. This is useful if you don't have the right HDRI or you can't find the right image as your background. So this is a simple way of creating a nice detailed sky. So once you press create sky, you go down to the world properties and then you can go into shading, and as you can see, it's added a nice little sky for me here. So I can change the mix to something else if I wanted to. So I'm going to change it to a sky texture. As you can see, it creates a fairly realistic sky texture, which can be used for certain scenes. You can change the amount of air, dust, and ozone in the sky. This is useful for creating different looks and different colours. You can also change the height of the sun and the rotation, and the altitude, and the strength. That's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more content.